Welcome to the Central Texas Huddle on Lone Star Gridiron. I'm your host, Tony Blaylock. I'll be back with the action from Central Texas High School football right after these messages.
With open enrollment coming soon for Medicare, ACA, Obamacare, and small group plans for businesses with less than 100 employees, if you're in need of health insurance solutions, look no further than HAP Insurance Agency. Yes, HAP Insurance Agency is a fantastic resource right in the heart of College Station, Texas. Whether you're in retirement, a business owner, or simply looking for the best health coverage option, HAP Insurance Agency has got you covered. You can find them in College Station at 1551 Greens Prairie Road West, Suite 101A, or give Holly Pritchard a call at 972-897-0814. That's HAP Insurance Agency.
Looking to boost your company's marketing? Look no further than Fresh MediaWorks. Podcasting is the best way to promote your brand and increase your customer base. You can create your own show, be a guest on other podcasts, or advertise on existing podcasts to reach a valuable audience. Don't wait. Start elevating your marketing game today with Fresh MediaWorks. Call now, 713-269-4620, or find us online at freshmediaworks.com/podcasting.
I want to thank HAP Insurance of College Station, Fresh MediaWorks, and 90's Sweeter Side for their sponsorship of the Central Texas Huddle. And we're going to start with our look at action from Week 10 in Central Texas with the Huddle-Bryan game. This is a game that featured 18 touchdowns, but was decided on a 23-yard field goal from Huddle's Carlos Soto with 5 seconds left in the game. Huddle's win the shootout 66-63 over the Vikings and clinch a playoff berth in the process. For Huddle, Will Hammond had 8 total touchdowns, 4 passing, 4 rushing, and 487 yards passing, and 181 yards rushing. Alex Green had 365 yards receiving with 4 touchdowns. For Bryan, Turner Boone had 286 yards passing with 2 touchdowns and 85 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. Isaiah Nuttall had 214 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Juvalen Wade had 101 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Terrence Lewis had 164 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. And Derek Ramsey had 122 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Next game is Westwood and Manor. This game was tied at 21 at the half. Midway through the third quarter, Damani Stewart scores on a 14-yard run, and Westwood pitches a shutout from there to win 28-21 over Manor. For Westwood, Owen Norrell had 141 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Stewart had 217 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And 4 different receivers caught 3 passes for the 12 passes that were caught in this game. They were Brian Perkins, Marquis Murray, Michael Davis, and Lane Wood. Next game is College Station and A&M Consolidated. Arrington Maiden finds Jake Pivito for a 7-yard touchdown pass with 16 seconds left in the game, and College Station edges intra-district rival A&M Consolidated 49-42 to clinch the number 1 seed in 11-5A D1 and at least a share of the district title. A&M Consolidated had clinched a playoff berth and could finish with either the 3rd or 4th seed. For the Cougars, Maiden had 179 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. He added 54 yards rushing. Aiden Martinez-Brown had 243 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. And Pivito had 64 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Next game is Pflugerville versus Rouse. Rouse jumped out to an early lead and led 22-7 early in the third quarter. Pflugerville then started back with 22 unanswered points to win 29-22. In 11-5 AD2, Belton and Waco University have clinched playoff berths Elgin, Rouse, Pflugerville, and Connolly are all in contention for the final 2 playoff berths, with all 4 teams having a shot at making the playoffs, and all 4 teams could also miss the playoffs. Elgin and Rouse play Thursday, with the winner of that game clinching a playoff berth, and Pflugerville and Connolly play on Friday. In this game for Pflugerville, it was Cole Taylor with 192 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Ryder Miller with 175 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Kyron McFrazier had 90 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. Donovan Wright had, on defense, had 3 tackles for loss and 8 total tackles. For Rouse, it was London Morgan with 246 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Justin Cannon with 123 yards rushing. Keller Rogers with 92 yards receiving and 1 touchdown.
Do you have a party coming up or just want a special gift? Check out Nani's Sweeter Side. Yes, Nani's Sweeter Side makes the most amazing custom-created sugar cookies with your design. They also offer paint your own cookies and decorate your own cookies. Those make an excellent sweet activity that you can sink your teeth into at parties. Nani's also offers some of the most amazing cupcakes ever. You can check out Nani's Sweeter Side at nanisweeterside.com. That's Nani. Check her out on Facebook. Just look for Nani's Sweeter Side. Or give her a call at 937-499-4790. At Nani's Sweeter Side, you'll find that happiness is homemade.
Hey, did you play Texas high school football? If you did, you're part of an elite group, the Brotherhood of Texas High School Football. All football players, past and present, who have ever suited up in the Lone Star State are eligible. Go to LoneStarGridiron.com/brotherhood. And thank you for the part you played in the greatest sport in the greatest state.
Next game we're going to talk about is San Antonio Veterans Memorial versus Kerrville Tybee. San Antonio Veterans led 7-0 at the half. Tybee tied the game 7-7 midway through the third quarter. And the game remained tied until approximately 9 minutes left in the game. Then the scoring fury began. Veterans Memorial took a 14-7 lead. Tybee cut the lead to 14-13 with about 5 minutes left. The mixed extra point looms large. Veterans Memorial extends their lead to 21-13 with about a minute later. And then Tybee cuts the lead 21-19 with about 1 minute to go. Lines up for 2, and the 2-point conversion fails. And Veterans Memorial walks out with the 21-19 win. And in the process, they clinch a playoff berth. Tybee now faces a go or go home against Lockhart next week, where the winner will make the playoffs and the loser will be left sitting at home. For San Antonio Veterans Memorial in this one, it was Clinton Dixon with 94 yards passing and 76 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. James Peoples had 290 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And Anthony Ariola had 52 yards receiving. For Tybee, it was Justin Rhodes with 97 yards passing and 1 touchdown. Aiden Farwig had 64 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. Stormy Rhodes had 59 yards receiving and 1 touchdown. And Gavin Garces had 20 total tackles in this game, with 3 of those being for loss. Now on to the Wimberley-Lago Vista game. And of note in this game, as Wimberley wins 34-22, is that this is the 300th win in Wimberley program history. The district is set as far as the playoff teams, with Wimberley being first and Geronimo Navarro will finish second. Lago Vista and Jarrell play each other this coming week, with the winner will take third place in district and the loser of the game will be fourth in district. In this game for Wimberley, it was Cody Stover with 106 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He also had 179 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. Nolan Wada had 70 yards receiving in this game. On to our next game, which is Cole and Marion. Cole wins this game 41-34. Marion is now in a position of fighting for a playoff spot. They'll clinch next week with a win over Luling or a Leno loss to Ingram Moore. For Cole in this game, Jackson Fields had 182 yards passing and 3 touchdowns, 199 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. Brendan Skaggs had 65 yards receiving with 2 touchdowns, and Kenny Enterez had 65 yards receiving. Now let's just do some quick hitters to wrap up our look at the action from Week 10. Hondo won 24-20 over Catula. For Hondo, it was DJ Richter with 170 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, 143 yards rushing and 1 touchdown, and Ryan Gilliam with 157 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Clifton takes down Elkhart 22-16. For Clifton, as a team, they had 318 yards rushing. Parker Tunnel had 139 yards rushing and 1 TD passing. And Joaquin De La Hoya had 98 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And Riesel takes down Crawford 13-0. For Riesel, it was Gavin Oliver with 135 yards rushing and 1 touchdown and 1 passing touchdown. And Riesel clinches a playoff berth with their win in this game. Now let's move on to the rankings and schedule for next week. Schedule for Week 11. In 6A, coming in 4th is Westlake, and they will be at Buda Johnson. Number 6, Vandergrift is hosting Westwood. Number 12, Cibolo Still is at Clemens. Dripping Springs is tied for 13th, and they are hosting Austin Anderson. Lake Travis is tied for 19th, and they will be at Austin Bowie. And coming in at 27th is San Antonio Reagan, and they will be at San Antonio Brandeis. On to 5A D1. Number 4, Smithson Valley will be at Seguin. College Station is tied for 5th, and they will be hosting Pflugerville-Hendrickson. Number 11, San Antonio Wagner, will be at Como Canyon. 5A D2, Alamo Heights is tied for 8th, and they will be at San Antonio South Houston. In 4A D1, number 2, Bernie, will be at Fredericksburg. Number 6, Stephenville is open. Number 10, China Spring, will be at number 11, Waco La Vega. And Davenport is tied for 15th and will be at Marble Falls. Number 2, Wimberley is at Austin Achieve. Cuero is tied for 4th and is at LaGrange. And number 13, Madisonville, will be hosting Salado. In 3A D1, Columbus is tied for 1st and they will be at Hempstead. Number 6, Franklin, will be hosting Little River Academy, who is tied for 15th. Lorena is tied for 10th and is open. They're tied with Jordanton for 10th, who is at Catula. And Hallettsville is tied for 15th and will be hosting Yoakum. In 3A D2, Poth is at Karnes City. 2A D1, number 10, Mason, will be hosting Harper. Number 11, Holland, is at Latonia. And number 14, Centerville, is at Corrigan Camp. 2A D2, number 1, Mart, is at Hubbard. Chilton is tied for 8th, and they are at Milano. Number 10, Granger, is at Bartlett. And number 11, Bremond, is at Iola. That's going to wrap it up for our look at Week 10 and rankings and schedule for Week 11. Be sure to tune in next week as we set the playoffs for all the teams in the Central Texas region. We'll go over the first round playoff schedule for all the Central Texas teams that make the playoff next week. I'd like to thank HAP Insurance of College Station, Fresh Media Works, and Nani Sweeterside for their sponsorship of the Central Texas Huddle, and see you next week again as we get ready for the playoffs.